Good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story: sorry we took so long to contact police. Lucy Letby's senior managers at the Countess of Chester apologise. They also said sorry to the bereaved families. Also in the programme, after the cancellation of HS2, can private investors rescue plans for a new rail line between Manchester and Birmingham?
In my false brother awaited evil nature.
Proving the doubters wrong, Charlie conquers his stammer and takes to the stage.
But when I'm acting, it's like an escape in some kind of way.
The Wythenshawe cast and crew who've become the unlikely stars of the silver screen.
It makes you part of something. It makes you feel relevant again. It gives you this new outlook on life. You're suddenly you're part of something bigger and you've achieved something.
And after a chilly start this morning, what a beautiful day we've had. I mean, look at the skies on the Isle of Man. Beautiful, but will it last? Join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the details.
Senior managers at the hospital where child killer Lucy Letby carried out her crimes apologised today for a series of failings, including for the time it took to call in the police. This is the first time we've heard at length from these four senior former bosses at the Countess of Chester Hospital. Well, Phil McCann was in the public inquiry that is looking into how the nurse was able to carry out the murders. He joins us from the hospital now. And, Phil, this wasn't just about saying sorry, was it?
No, there were apologies, Annabelle, but there were also explanations, there were justifications for what they did and didn't do, and there were denials of some of the allegations that have been laid against them. This statement to the Thirlwall inquiry this morning then came from four of the most senior executives at the hospital here in Chester at the time. Tony Chambers, the chief executive at the time, Ian Harvey, who was medical director, Alison Kelly, who was director of nursing, and Susan Hodkinson, who was director of people. Today they were represented by a barrister who conveyed this apology but also explanation as to why it took 9 months for them to call in the police.
The senior managers accept that they believed that they needed to investigate so as to obtain evidence of wrongdoing before taking this matter to the police. There was nothing tangible being alleged beyond Letby's presence for a long period of time. They struggled to know what they might say to justify a criminal investigation. This was the cause of a significant delay in contacting the police, and for this, they are truly sorry. But the reviews were commissioned in good faith, not to conceal the truth, but to uncover it.
So Cheshire Police were called in April of 2017, and today management said they were first made aware of concerns about Lucy Letby in June of 2016, although it's worth saying the lead consultant on the unit has previously said that he first raised concerns in October of 2015. As for why the delay, well, you heard there, the management thought that they should investigate before the police. They then commissioned a series of their own reviews, which today in their statement the managers said those reviews did not connect any increase in deaths of babies that was noticed on the unit with any unnatural events or foul play.
And the statement from those bosses this morning, Phil, claimed that they weren't aware of lots of the evidence against Letby.
Now, that statement said that nothing specific was ever articulated by consultants to identify the wrongdoing by Letby, aside from the fact that she was on shift when deaths had occurred. Instead, managers said that they understood that Letby's skills meant that she was more likely to be looking after the sickest infants on the unit, often alone. It is worth saying that this is all very different to the accounts given by consultants who've previously talked about repeatedly trying to raise concerns and being warned about protecting the reputation of the trust. In today's statement, the managers said that they did not ever try to suppress concerns.
And the bosses today also apologised to the families.
Yeah, the inquiry has also previously heard that families believe they were kept in the dark by the hospital, which also failed to provide them with proper bereavement support. In their statement today, while the managers accepted that some contact was inadequate and that this has caused hurt and anxieties, for this, the statement said, senior managers are deeply sorry.
Phil, thanks very much indeed. Now, could a new rail line linking the West Midlands with the North West be built after all? The mayors of Greater Manchester and the West Midlands have announced plans for a new line from Birmingham to Manchester after the cancellation of HS2 in the north. The new line would be cheaper and a bit slower and funded mainly by private investors. Our transport correspondent Judy Hobson reports.
When HS2 to Manchester was cancelled last October, northern leaders were furious. So the mayors of Greater Manchester and the West Midlands commissioned a report. Was it feasible to build a new rail line but fund it with private money? Today, they said it was.
I think this is a plan that the public finally can get behind. And actually, it's not just about it being realistic, it's actually essential. Anybody today who's setting out to travel to the Midlands or the South, or people coming up the country on the west side towards us, they know that they're going to have to expect delay, disruption. I mean, how much longer are we going to force people to live like this? The M6 is full. The West Coast Main Line is full. Are we really saying that's it, nothing more can be done? Well, it can't be left like that.
The line would follow the HS2 route. The report says it would cost 25 to 40% less to build, delivering 85% of the benefits, adding £75 billion a year to the local economy. A huge amount of public money was spent planning HS2 from the West Midlands up to Manchester. And what the mayors said today is that money doesn't need to go to waste because they can reuse the powers that came with that project.
It's very difficult to predict the cost of the railway before the planning has been approved. So I think it's premature to have that conversation yet. It's a good idea. It's similar to Thames Tideway tunnel. I don't think private investors will commit before there is a planning consent for the railway.
It will take 40% of all the land in Wimbledon, which the adjoining village.
But for residents living along the proposed route in Cheshire, today's news was the last thing they wanted to hear. The land is still being safeguarded by the government.
We've been living with the blight that was HS2 for over 10 years now, and the idea of this continuing for many, many more years now just appalls us. It's unbelievable strain on many of the people who live in Cheshire. If you're stuck in a place you can't move, then what do you do?
Today, the government said it was committed to improving rail connectivity in the north. Judy Hobson, BBC North West Tonight.
Let's get a roundup of some of the day's other news now. And a teenager who appeared in Freddie Flintoff's TV show has died after a car crashed into a tree in Preston. 18-year-old Umar Mahmood was driving the Audi A3 Sport involved in Tuesday's accident. He's seen here being coached by the former England all-rounder in the first series of Field of Dreams. Umar's friend, 16-year-old Adam Bodie, a passenger in the car, also died. Paying tribute, Penwitham Priory Academy said Umar was bright, studious and well-loved, and Adam was popular with a great sense of humour. A Cumbrian firm is being urged to end its bid to open the UK's first deep coal mine in 30 years after the High Court ruled against it. Environmental groups celebrated as planning permission controversially given to West Cumbria Mining in 2022 was today overturned. The judge decided the firm's claims that a new mine near Whitehaven would have net zero impact were legally flawed.
We're incredibly proud to have taken this case alongside South Lake's action on climate change. This mine would be an absolute disaster for the climate and for future generations. And we are absolutely ecstatic with this decision. The planning permission has been quashed.
The North West Air Ambulance says it needs to raise an extra £6 million this year to pay for an expansion of its life-saving services. The charity relies solely on public donations and says the money will help fund helicopter upgrades and more nighttime operations. Now, one of the first commitments from the new government was a massive drive to build new homes. But where to build them often causes tensions in communities. In the second part of our look at housing targets, I've been speaking to some people directly affected by development.
1C.
Christine moves easily around her bungalow. Living here, she says, has given her a new lease of life.
I've got my independence back. I can get in and out of the shower because it's a wet room. All the surfaces in the kitchen are low.
When Christine lost her leg, her 3-bed council home was no longer suitable. She had to live in one room, eating, sleeping and using a commode there, because even the downstairs loo was up 3 steps. But even as a priority case, it took a year for her to get her new home. Social housing and particularly bungalows are scarce.
I was crying every other day. It really, really got to me because I'd lost my independence. And when they said I'd got this bungalow, I could have kissed whoever was the first person that I came to, you know. That was how grateful I was to get this.
The political parties agree we need more houses of all kinds, but disagree on how. Mandatory targets were ditched by the previous Tory government. Now Labour has brought them back, with many councils facing an increase in the number of homes they'll have to build. But where there's development, there's often objections. I mean, where will it go from and to?
This will stretch right across as far as the eye can see here. It's a large site which will effectively swallow up the green space between 2 villages.
On Bee Lane in Penwortham, residents have been fighting for 5 years against plans to build 1,100 homes on rural land. But they've lost. The previous government stepped in and gave the plans the go-ahead. Are you against development in general?
No,
absolutely not.
And there's a lot of development going on in the area.
Wouldn't even mind if they built a few houses. But 1,100 houses without any infrastructure is just ridiculous.
For housing targets to be reached, local authorities might find they have no choice but to build on land like this, despite opposition from local people. And Angela Rayner herself has admitted that her plans don't come without controversy, but they have to be done if housing is to be made more affordable. Blackburn with Darwen's new housing target is 564 homes every year for 10 years. That's an increase of 320%. But the council says it can be achieved. It's not as simple as just getting a piece of land and building houses on it. What are the main challenges?
The major challenge, in truth, I think, is it's not popular with large numbers of the residents. There is a housing crisis, I think seems to be generally accepted. To put it very simply, you would not solve a housing crisis by not building any houses.
So politicians and planners have some hard choices to make, trying to satisfy all sides of this growing problem. Now, if at first you don't succeed, then try again. And aspiring actor Charlie Grindrod from Leyland in Lancashire is the epitome of that famous saying. He's autistic and he has a stammer and was rejected several times from acting courses, one college even saying he'd struggle with the workload. But as Ian Haslam explains, he's proved the doubters wrong.
He's not been toy car, you know. Now the wheels are missing and the tops broke off.
Charlie Grindrod achieved distinctions for his acting at Burnley College, the culmination of years of dedication to his craft.
I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind.
And to you, my brave volunteer. Although there was a way out planned for you, and the feeling that that's not what you want.
He's now got a place at LMA in Liverpool to study for a degree in acting and performance, but in the past he'd had numerous rejections, including being told he wouldn't cope with the learning.
I did a lot of damage to my confidence because, like, if you've been told that, like, you can't do this and you've been working so unbelievably hard to get to that point in your life, it does a lot. So I guess I've used that doubt to propel myself forward to get to that point.
Sometimes establishments don't recognise things and are not quite as inclusive. So he has had quite a few knockbacks, but he's always been really focused about where he wants to go, what he wants to do, and he's never ever given up.
Crucially, Charlie's managed to overcome his stammer when performing.
And recreated the world's most famous racetracks.
But I suppose it's just a matter of, like, getting familiar with the material. Because I know, like, what I'm saying and what's about to be said, that's, like, one thing that really, like, helps me ground myself in the role, I suppose.
I've had a most rare vision.
How does autism affect what you do in terms of acting?
My autism makes it more easier because, like, Because in real life, like I struggle with social situations, social interactions, and personal relationships. But when I'm acting, it's like can escape in some kind of way.
Your presence alone is a testament to the endless possibilities that exist within each and every one of you.
What is the long-term ambition? What would you most like to do career-wise?
My main focus is to acting for screen, like film or TV. Because I've been playing a lot of story-based video games and all that stuff, that's also giving me a keen interest in voice acting as well.
We've never doubted him. He's always been so focused and the path that he wanted to do and what makes him happy. And I think you can succeed if you're happy.
On Monday, Charlie will start his course at LMA.
Considering like all the trials and tribulations I've had to overcome, coming into a whole new environment and going to meet some really nice new people, and yeah, honestly it's amazing. I can't wait.
An exciting future lies ahead. Ian Haslam, BBC Northwest Tonight, Leyland.
Oh, and good news, he starts college on Monday, so good luck to him. Absolutely brilliant. Right, on to sport. Richard is here. The Premier League is back.
Yeah.
Exciting, but lots particularly to talk about on and off the pitch with Manchester City.
Yes, Annabelle, the champions host Brentford after a perfect 3 wins out of 3 starts to the season. It's the first game since news that the hearing into allegations of 115 breaches of Premier League rules will begin on Monday. City reject the charges, and today manager Pep Guardiola said he's glad that the hearing is about to start.
I'm happy that it starts on Monday, and we're going to see. So I know what the people are looking for. I know what they're expecting. I know it, what I read for many, many years, but I'm sad. So everybody's innocent and, guilt is proven. So we'll see.
Pep Guardiola also confirmed that Erling Haaland, who's scored 7 goals already, is a doubt after being given compassionate leave following a bereavement. Elsewhere, Manchester United travel to Southampton tomorrow lunchtime, with Everton desperate to get off the mark at Aston Villa. Liverpool, who like City, have maximum points, host Nottingham Forest, with manager Arne Slot insisting today that having several key players out of contract at the end of the season is not a distraction. There's some cracking matches to look forward to in a full EFL fixture list as well, with a very familiar face preparing to take charge of his first game as Blackpool boss. Former Manchester United captain Steve Bruce, he's managed the likes of Newcastle and Aston Villa. Steve also had a couple of spells in charge at Wigan. And as I found out ahead of the Seasiders League One match at home to Exeter, he's delighted to be back in football.
It's been very enjoyable. The lads have responded great to what we've tried to put in place. And it's all about preparing them for tomorrow's game, and that's what I've missed.
Is that what it was, Steve, that you just wanted to be back? Because a few eyebrows will have been raised.
Yeah,
You've managed and played at the very, very top level, but you just missed it.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to be involved and missed it. I thought retirement's not for me just yet, and then when given the opportunity here to meet the owner, come and hear what he has to say and the ambition of what he wants. I thought, why not? Why not? I've missed it dreadfully, so just wanted to be involved.
What do you think you can achieve here?
Well, look, they were thereabouts last year to get towards the playoffs. There's some big teams in the division, but we've got a squad capable, I think, of not being frightened of anybody. And can we be there or thereabouts again? Can we get up towards the playoffs and that sort of situation? And then anything can happen after that.
Sometimes when managers come in, Steve, they bring in the odd quirk, the odd little thing that they've always done. Have you got any of those that you're willing to tell us about?
Yeah. Well, maybe have one today, maybe, but no, there's no real quirk. What you do find, a new brush sweeps clean, and they're all desperately trying to impress. We've had to stop it once or twice to say, hang on a minute, lads, you're getting a bit carried away.
Well, they got over the top a bit.
They've got a bit over the top a bit, and they're flying into challenges and tackles, but...
Not that you would ever have done that.
No, of course not. But very, very enjoyable. The response from the players has been great.
How much are you looking forward to the first game tomorrow at Bloomfield Road in front of all the Blackpool fans?
Well, when you said about the everyday, it's the real Saturday where the adrenaline and to meet the faithful. I mean, they're an incredibly loyal bunch. And I hope that can give them something to shout about. Hopefully they'll get right behind us. I'm convinced they will.
I'm sure they will. That might have been Sir Alex flying in. Steve? Just
no, he already rang me. He's already rang me this morning. When you get the odd phone call from the great man, you know, he phoned me the other morning at 6:30 to see if I was on the road. I mean, how good is that?
That's brilliant. Just checking you were working.
Just checking I was up early enough, yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, Steve, it's great to see you. Wish you all the very best.
Thanks ever so much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Best of luck to Steve. Great to meet up with him. In Super League tonight, 5th place Lee Leopards face Hull KR with the leaders Wigan Warriors at home to Leeds. St Helens, who currently sit in 6th, which is the final playoff position, host Castleford. Salford travel to Hull FC and Warrington Wolves Huddersfield tomorrow. Just a couple of games to go, Annabelle. It's getting really tense.
It's really interesting. Steve Bruce, obviously, you know, just can't stay away from football, can he?
He can't. He certainly doesn't need the money.
No.
And he's got Sir Alex Ferguson on speed dial, which is very helpful.
Yeah, a few helpful tips there, I imagine.
Definitely.
I used to bump into him in our local fish and chip shop, you know.
Did you now?
Yeah, very nice man.
Did you buy him some extra chips?
No. He can afford his own.
He didn't need you to do that, did he?
Richard, thank you very much. Thank you. Now, when the producers were casting for their new film Made in Wythenshawe, it was made in Wythenshawe, that's not the title. Rather than hire professional actors and crew, they looked a little closer to home. The result is the feature film, The Silver Screen Dreams Cafe, and it gets its red carpet premiere in Manchester tonight. Davinia Ramos reports.
So what are you going to do?
It's a film that has community at its heart, and it's given local people in Wythenshawe an opportunity of a lifetime. Dennis is a builder and has never acted before.
I want to show the world that I've just come from this little town in Wythenshawe. I'm a nobody that not want to be anybody, but just thought, well, I'll have a go and see where it takes me. And I hope this touches some people and gives them the confidence, because it's brought me confidence.
Hey, oh, I say. Oi, I want a word with you.
The film tells a story of transforming people's lives through making a film, a story within a story. And the idea came from husband and wife, Mike and Rebecca Peacock.
We obviously put the call out, we called as many people as possible. I kind of imagined that we would hire like a core of professional actors and then kind of have a few little parts dotted around, but we suddenly went, do you know what? We've got almost everybody we need.
This church has been amazing at enabling us to be a location, and then we've had a charity shop supply all of our needs costume-wise and props-wise. It's been just, people have given what they can in the community.
What are you doing with that carpet, mate? It's for the film. For a film? Can I be in it? Yeah, of course you can.
Most of the film was shot in Wythenshawe, including here in this cafe inside the Methodist Church. Filming began 2 years ago, and those involved were trained in all aspects of filmmaking, both in front and behind the camera.
I'm born and bred in Wythenshawe. I went to school here, I've grown up here, I've seen it through the bad times. I was given the role of Mickey, a bit of a lovable rogue. It's taken a couple of years, we're doing it after work, we're doing it at weekends, but it's been really exciting, and it's been great to see how a film is actually made.
Before I did this, I didn't like my photograph taken. I thought I looked ugly. When I came to do this, it changed all that. People in my age don't get the opportunity to do what I have done. It makes you part of something. It makes you feel relevant again. And working together with other people of different ages, you learn so much about their lives. Every single person has got a story.
The film's been chosen to appear at the I Will Tell International Film Festival, and audiences will be able to watch it on Amazon Prime next year. It's put Wythenshawe on the map and its wonderful community, who are so proud of where they live. Davinia Ramos, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester.
There could be some real future stars there, couldn't they? I mean, Shane Meadows did it in Nottingham, didn't he? Made stars from people, local people. You never know, there could be more there.
I met them this morning.
Yeah?
On the breakfast show, they were on BBC Radio Manchester.
Oh, of course. You've been doing that, haven't you? Back on Monday.
Got a lot of makeup on, so you can't tell. I've had a great day. And so have you. The weather has been gorgeous today, hasn't it? Beautiful. I have got some very good news for the weather as we go into next week. And the weekend, it's a bit of a mixed bag. But let's look at your weather pictures first. Right, where I'm at. Keith, this morning, he snapped a double rainbow. Quite common, actually, in the morning when the sun is low in the sky. They're formed when sunlight is reflected in a raindrop twice. So beautiful, gorgeous. Thank you, Keith. And of course, it is the St Anne's Kite Festival this weekend. So Tim said there was a bit of a breeze. It did die down a bit, but tomorrow the winds will pick up. So it'll be a good day for the Kite Festival, and it's on Sunday as well. So thank you for sending me those pictures. Lovely to see them. As always, join me on socials, or better yet, become a weather watcher and let me know what it's like in your parts of the world. So, to the weekend, like I said, it's not looking too bad. It's a bit of a mixed bag, both through Saturday and Sunday. If only my clicker would click on, I could show you. And here we go. I think it might be working. Give it a second. There we go. Got there in the end. So, this weekend, it's going to be milder. We are pulling in a more southwesterly air mass, but with that, a bit breezy as well. There will be some rain around at times. That's thanks to a cold front on Sunday. So, mixed bag, and then next week looks lovely. So, as we head, looking at the air mass, rather, this morning it was a cold start, wasn't it? We did have a touch of frost in places. You can see, though, the blue starts to clear away. We pull in the oranges, if not, just about teetering on the reds. Next week, we are looking at highs of 21, if not 22 degrees, so it will feel a lot milder. Now, as we head through this evening and overnight, we are looking at variable cloud. The best of the clear skies, if you've got a chance to see the aurora, will be across more southern parts of the patch. So for southern parts of Manchester and Merseyside. Further north, I do think we are going to get a few spots of rain for the Isle of Man and for Cumbria. Here it will be mildest. In the clearer skies, 6 or 7 degrees will be the low. So tomorrow morning, fair bit of cloud around. It is going to break up. We are going to see some decent spells of sunshine, the best of which, again, further south. Sunshine turning hazy through the day. The odd spot of rain for Cumbria, but amounts will be small. Top temperatures climbing to about 18 degrees. The winds will be fresher, though. And then as we head through Saturday night into Sunday, we're looking at a cold front coming through. That's going to turn things a bit more unsettled, but high pressure starts to build in. So as we head into next week, well, it's going to be settled. It's going to be fine and dry. We are looking at mist and fog around through the mornings, but plenty of sunshine. Top temperatures, 21 degrees. And I've got to say to Will in Audenshaw, when he's going to play the cricket on Sunday, or watch the cricket rather, take your brolly.
Oh, really? Oh. Now, you mentioned the Northern Lights, another chance to see them tonight.
Yes.
But some people were lucky and saw them last night, and they've been sending in their videos.
They have been sending photos, videos. The sun is in its 11th year of its cycle of solar activity, which means we get more chances to see it here in the UK.
Let's have a look at those images. Good night.